And it's with great pride, therefore, that I simply dedicate Oroville Dam and Lake Oroville to the people of California's future, who will benefit from this giant structure and the water that it impounds.
To the north, up to the Chico area. But as we look to the south, and you just saw Doug in the traffic around Yuba City, residents have been asked to evacuate to the south and to the west. And so that's where you're seeing this absolute logjam of traffic. And keep in mind, it's Highway 99, but through a lot of this area.
Slower pace than what they originally.
And into June and July, but still, anytime you get rain on top of that snowpack, you're going to see some big releases of water. Now we have to switch over to this forecast.
Break. Christina? Okay, so we've lost.
I did not hear you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. We just wanted to say if there was any more.
Have a new section on our mobile app. If you don't have it already, search for KRCR in your phone's app store.
We'll have the latest alerts and information you need to
relay it right back to you, Joe and Nikki.
All right, Sarah, thank you very much for that. Also, as Sarah mentioned, CHP now taking part in this. This is a very multi-jurisdictional effort right now to not only clear some of these areas, but to sort of facilitate as traffic moves in and out. Now, CHP, we're learning, has deployed additional staff to personnel in.
Far, none of the bags have been lifted up, but they have been furiously filling these bags over the past hour or so, and there are dozens upon dozens now on standby. And as you look at this, the image is different from the last time I broadcast to you live here from the top of the dam. You can see that all of the vehicles, the emergency vehicles, the trucks, and much of the heavy construction equipment, except for those engaged in filling the bags right now, have been cleared. It looks to us like they may be making room for one of those helicopters to come into this area, hook onto one of those bags, and indeed execute the plan, bring that bag to where it is needed in the region. Now, we have unconfirmed reports from Mather that Black Hawk helicopters from the National Air brought over to the dam and deposited in the places where erosion, as that water floods down those spillway and the emergency spillway and erodes the hillside, causing some structural concerns at the Oroville Dam and the spillway releases. Just amazing to conceptualize those boulders being plucked from the ground, brought to that area, and placed in the flow of water to try to shore these structurally compromised spillways up.
Yeah, Ben, this is a really complicated effort here. I know you were out there as soon as the story broke. We sent you out that way, so you've been there for quite some time. Can you give us a sense of just how long and how much of an effort it was to
area and assist with
826-1074. Once again, if you have horses that you need to find shelter for, the Rolling Hills Equestrian Center has 300 stalls available right now.
All right, important to note because not all of the shelters, at least that we've heard, have accommodated for animals. So, yeah, important to take note of. All right, we're going to send it out right now to Eric Rucker, who's live for us in Marysville. Eric, I know you've been tracking down some people who were mid-evacuation as well. What are you seeing now?
To be honest, we've been stuck in traffic in downtown Marysville like thousands of other people for the last hour or so. Let me try to
lake level down to a level that it is not spilling over this auxiliary spillway as rapidly as it was before. It is beginning to recede. So you take that pressure off of it and you get the workers in there with those bags of rock that they're dropping, and then they can hopefully secure this damaged, compromised structure that did, they found enough damage to warrant the evacuation orders. So there is some hope, but they are not rescinding those evacuation orders at all. Joe.
All right, Dennis, thank you. Right now on the phone, we have Michelle.
Gone outside and talked to our neighbors and told them that.
Reiterate the fact that around here, we're good right now.
Okay, and Department of Water Resources also, they were set to have a press conference at 9, so we were hoping that we could get some more information. That has been moved back to 10 o'clock. So we're going to wait a little bit longer, and we'll hear finally what they have to say. I imagine, will have some important updates for us. We're also going to take a quick break right now.
Any type of damage that's going to be caused if flooding should ensue. And right now, it seems to be holding up fairly well, though we heard from areas which could cause flooding to try to hopefully protect people's homes and try to mitigate any type of damage that's going to be caused if flooding should ensue. And right now, it seems to be holding up fairly well, though we heard from that family. God help them. We hope that they're okay. Here, do we see a reporter from Fox 4?
Church in Paradise on 587.
We'll zoom in a little bit closer to the dam. Again, there's the dam right there. It's an earthen dam. That's not what we're concerned with. We're not concerned with the primary dam. It's the emergency spillway right here. There's the spillway that they've been releasing on, of course, throughout the entire season once those lake levels started to get really high. They discovered the hole right there on that spillway, but now, of course, they have to release on that spillway, even with that hole being there, because they have to drop that lake because we have snow up in the mountains. Way down through the Sacramento River into Tehama County, and then right on the Glen Butte County line, also seeing very high river levels. So that
some of the things that they do more modern, they weren't necessarily doing back then on the spillway, and maybe that applies, to the main spillway as well as to the emergency one. So, we're kind of in ground here. So, but we talked about it. Army Corps of Engineers responsible for 20% of the dam, 20% of the funding back in the day, and so they have a role in this. So the federal government will have a role, and we'll be sure to push that as soon as we can. We'll be getting the word to President Trump that you need the funding back in the day, help us with this declaration and whatever it's going to take here. So,
right, I see your messages.
I ran the numbers on it, and
177 acre feet.
People heading north or heading east. Folks saying, nope, we're staying in our house. So, well, you better assess where you are, and what that risk is. So it's.
Kevin Allison from CAL FIRE will also be speaking, and I think most people, maybe we could take that live shot right now if we can. I don't know if we can as they start to get set up. They might be. This is not the live shot though. This is though a live shot from obviously it appears to be. I'm not exactly sure of the lay of the land there. But you can see just water, perhaps, I believe that's the channel heading out along the Feather River. Yeah, that's what it is. So that's not flooding into any land that's not supposed to have water there, it doesn't appear. So, again, let's see if we can get a live shot, if we can, to the news conference. We want to make sure.
the 8th. And you got the floodplains down there, and this is going to cause flooding like we've never seen before. We have another week's worth of water coming. And I read you what they said, what an official said from the California Water or whatever. I forget the title. But he had basically said, this is going to be bad. What's coming is bad. There's going to be flooding like we've never seen before in California. For those that live in the floodplains, you might want to figure out if you're in a floodplain, because once they start releasing this water, and check this out, I couldn't believe this. It says they found new damage at the Oroville Dam. Now check out the damage on this spillway when they go, let the water out. Check this out. This is
and to help reinforce that emergency spillway. So there's a look at the way the river flows. Again, there's the dam right there. They're doing those big releases right now down the river. And of course, as it goes over some of those banks, you're going to have water spilling left and right of the river. Again, there's a look at the flash flood warning. Again, this goes through 9:15 tomorrow afternoon. Of course, things can change between that. They can even allow this to expire early, or they can even lengthen that warning. We also still have a flash flood warning in place, or a flood warning, I should say, in place for all areas shaded in green, and that's due to all the runoff still coming down. Of course, they're doing big releases right now at Shasta and Keswick Dam. I believe the releases now are up to 70,000 cubic feet per second. We're even seeing parts of Redding that are underwater, those low-lying areas near the river. Now, let's take a look at precision cast. We're going to walk you through the next few days, and this is all the way going into Wednesday morning. This is 4:30 on Wednesday morning. You'll notice
ward is. There are currently 4 mothers and 4 newborn babies over there that would also have to be evacuated if again that official word came. As I zoom in here, you can see these are some of the paramedics and EMTs currently arriving on scene, going inside to be briefed. Again, this is the emergency department here, and more than 150 patients currently out here at Rideout Hospital. The staff currently are basically monitoring the situation, waiting for that phone call. They did have to evacuate this hospital during the floods in 1997, so it's not unprecedented, but obviously this would be a very large-scale operation if and when they did have to do that. Again, calling in ambulances from all over Northern California to help out if something like this. But at this point, they're standing by, waiting to see whether or not. Another option is to possibly move some of the patients from the ground floor up to higher floors if